Knows him would be, despite the sadness that we have that we lost him, would be proud that he served his country and his community right up to the end.
Right now, just before 8:30, we are honoring DEA Special Agent Michael Garbo, who was shot and killed in the line of duty on Monday at the Amtrak station in downtown Tucson. Agent Garbo was part of a DEA for 16 years, and he also served in law enforcement in Tennessee and before that in the military. And funeral services will be held throughout the morning. Let's get to 9 on Your Side's Tina Giuliano, who is live from where law enforcement that procession is about to begin. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. Yes, people are packed, cars are packed, and the procession is just beginning. I'm going to step out of frame so you can see just what's going on here behind me. The family has now entered their car and they're starting to get things underway. Now, the motorcycles will lead this way on Broadway. If you take a look at your screen, you'll find the service schedule. The procession will begin here at Brings Broadway Chapel and lead to Calvary on Speedway Boulevard. And then the service will open around 9:30 and the service will begin at 10 a.m. We'll continue to give you live updates throughout the day, and the service will be live streamed on our social media platforms. Sending it back to you, Chandrea.
All right, thank you, Tina. As you can see, the vehicles are leaving the area. They're starting to make their way on the procession there. You can see that law enforcement is leading this ride down the road there. And we will continue to follow this. Of course, there will be plenty of law enforcement from not only here around southern Arizona, but from also all across the country, along with others from the community who will be, mourning and showing their respects for what's happened here. And actually, let's get over to 9 on Your Side's Craig Smith. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning. We're here at Calvary Chapel, and this is a place where we are seeing rituals play out that we have seen many times before, regrettably enough. What you can see are the honor guards, the various honor guards rehearsing, drilling really, to make sure that their turnout, their performance is exactly perfect. That's something that is an important gesture of respect for them. We see bagpipers, color guards, representatives of a number of different agencies from around the region. We have seen police from Glendale. We know at events like this that police agencies from all over the country and perhaps even internationally will send representatives here as a gesture of honor for Michael Garbo, Agent Michael Garbo, and his service with the Drug Enforcement Administration. Bagpipes have become very much a important part of these rituals, a part of this tradition. So we are hearing pipers practice the tunes that they will play. We expect to see the procession pull up in front of this church across the length of Calvary Chapel, and then honors rendered outdoors as the casket is brought inside the Calvary Chapel itself for the service. Now, in terms of people who are going to speak, we have a list of at least 8 dignitaries that are going to be speaking, including the overall head of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Administrator Ann Milgram, the Tucson Police Chief, the Deputy Director of Arizona DPS, a Deputy U.S. Attorney General is going to speak, DEA Group Supervisor. So 10 speakers on the list. A couple of them are going to be repeat speakers as they honor Michael Garbo and his service to the country and through the Drug Enforcement Administration and his earlier service in various police agencies. So that is basically what we are expecting to see here. Now, in the background, we are hearing a few motorcycles come up to block the intersections and provide traffic control for the main motorcade as it arrives. As Tina was saying, it's heading eastbound on Broadway, turning northbound on Harrison, then turning westbound on Speedway to enter Calvary Chapel. And we expect that before too long. Last seating here is going to be at about 9:50, so 10 minutes to 10 for a 10 o'clock service. And we do expect a lot of people here. A standing room only audience for these services in a building that normally seats about 2,400 people. So again, we are expecting a very active service. A lot of people coming here to render their respects to Agent Michael Garbo, and a sad but solemn ritual, the sort of thing we have seen many times in the past. Agent Garbo is the 6th police officer, member of the law enforcement community, killed in our immediate area in about the past 18 years. But for now, that's what we have here at Calvary Chapel as we wait for the arrival of the motorcade. Reporting live, Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
All right, thank you, Craig. And that procession is continuing again as it is ending at Calvary Chapel. Let's get over to 9 on your side. Sierra Encinas, she was live at the scene at the Amtrak station on Monday, and right now she's en route to the procession. Sierra, give us a timeline of events from Monday and what you saw that day.
Right now we're off of Speedway in Harrison. Like you mentioned, this is stop 2 along the procession. That procession is supposed to be coming down the street here for fallen DEA agent Michael Garbo any moment now. But let's get to that timeline of events like you mentioned, Chandrea. What we know is that just before 8 o'clock on Monday morning is when DEA agents stopped that Amtrak train to do a routine check for drugs, guns, and illegal money. That's when that search led to the discovery of marijuana. And that's when one of the suspects was then detained. That's when another suspect on that train fired at the officers, ultimately killing Agent Garbo. Now, we know that one of the suspects was killed and the other one is in police custody right now. And like we mentioned, that procession should be coming down the street here any moment now. We've seen some law enforcement parked and staged, ready to close down the street as soon as it heads this way. And at this time, we know that the services will start at 10 o'clock, like Craig mentioned earlier this morning. And you can see families over here are lined up along Speedway, some of them holding flags showing their support for fallen Agent Garbo. Now, we will keep you posted as the procession continues to make its way down here to Speedway in Harrison. Stay with us on air and online as we continue to provide you with updates this morning. Back to you, Chandrea.
All right, here's another look at that procession that is happening right now that is set to end at Calvary Chapel. It's been going on since the past couple of minutes here, so we've been getting some live perspectives from what's happening there on the scene. And again, the funeral for Agent Mike Garbo will be a show of grief and solidarity. Our Craig Smith has more on the tradition and remembrance of a man who knew Garbo since the start of his career.
When a brother or sister officer is killed, law enforcement officers turn out in force, from large motorcycle escorts for the hearse to honor guards at the ceremonies. These are images from the observances for United States Marshal Chase White, shot and killed in November 2018, as he and other marshals worked to arrest a man already accused of threatening police. Local law enforcement has been preparing for the ceremony at Calvary Chapel. Local departments from around the state and around the country will send representatives. A group from Nashville, Tennessee's police department is expected. That's the department where Michael Garbo's law enforcement career began, and where now retired officer Stephen Antle says he worked with Mike Garbo for 12 years.
He was the entire package when it came to law enforcement. He had the brains, he had the heart for it, and he also had the physical abilities to do it. He was an excellent marksman. He was in very good physical shape, much better than I've ever been in my life.
Antle says Garbo volunteered for the tough assignments in high crime areas and with Nashville's SWAT team.
The thing that sticks out in my mind about his work was that he was always calm, cool, and collected. I can never remember a time when he was upset or scared or angry. He always was professional at all times.
Antle says he's not surprised Mike Garbo would go to an active drug smuggling area like Arizona, or that he'd continue to lead arrest teams even after he was promoted to supervisor.
I think that everybody that knows him would be, despite the sadness that we have that we lost him, would be proud that he that he served his country and his community right up to the end.
Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
All right, and ahead of today's services, DEA Administrator Ann Milgram released a statement highlighting the character and bravery of fallen DEA agent Michael Garbo. She wrote, "Garbo's operational expertise, membership, and leadership were legendary in the Tucson community." Milgram also expressed that he was not only dedicated to his job, but also to his family. She wrote, "Above all else, he was dedicated, a devoted and loving father and husband." U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland also visited Tucson to meet privately with those impacted by the recent shooting on that Amtrak train. The Attorney General also visited the DEA agent and DEA task force officer injured in Monday's incident. And while in the Old Pueblo, he also addressed agents, task force officers, officials, and staff of the DEA's Tucson district office. And that procession is underway right now, starting at Brings Chapel near Broadway and Kolb. Down on your sides, Tina Giuliano is live there right now. And Tina, what are you seeing at this point?
So right now, the cars are still leading out, but we're nearing the end of the line here as the procession is underway. Now we're seeing the police cars move towards the rest of the car. They're following one by one as they exit here, paying their respects, heading to Calvary Chapel. Now, each of the cars have their blinkers on. The road is closed off. Traffic is slowed for those not in the procession at the moment. But each car is taking their time in order to honor the late DEA agent Michael Garbo. Sending it back to you, Chandrea.
All right, thank you, Tina. Let's go ahead and check in with Craig Smith, who was along the procession route. Craig, what can you tell us about what you're seeing there?
Well, again, we're waiting for the arrival of that procession, of that motorcade, and we're going to go ahead and step out of the way and give you a look at the reception that's waiting for it now. Because they know the motorcade is underway, you can tell that the honor guards are now lined up, and you can expect the motorcade and the hearse to basically pull between those lines. What you see there are members of a wide variety of law enforcement agencies. I think from this distance we can make out most likely Tucson Police, Border Patrol, Pima County Sheriffs, and there are also agencies that we have seen from around the state, and we also expect that representatives of police agencies from really around the country will be here as members of the audience, because that is part of the tradition of ceremonies like this, that when a brother officer is killed in the line of duty, that the law enforcement community nationwide really will come out to honor their service and their life and remember their sacrifice. And we could easily have people here from New York, LA, Texas, any one of these places. And we also know that Agent Garbo served internationally with the DEA and spent some time doing DEA work in Afghanistan. So there's an international element as well, and there is at least the possibility that members of law enforcement who have been deployed internationally may also come to pay their respects to Agent Garbo and his service. Now, we mentioned a couple of minutes ago a statement by Administrator Ann Milgram, the overall leader of the Drug Enforcement Administration. She is scheduled to be here today and is one of the speakers, along with a Deputy U.S. Attorney General. We also expect the special agent in charge of the Phoenix DEA division, effectively Michael Garbo's immediate supervisor, apparently, Deputy Director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety, a wide range of people here to pay their respects. And this is a very solemn thing. When you talk with these people who are involved in these honor guards, it is very, very important for them to have what in military terms, or I guess police terms well, is what you call a perfect turnout. Their uniform is absolutely perfect. Not a loose thread showing, not a button unshined, not a crease, not a hair. That their uniforms are perfect, their drill, their performance with the flags and the rifle salutes, perfect. That is all an important gesture of respect in this community. And that is what we expect to see when that motorcade rolls up. Now again, just to repeat the route, I know we've said it before, leaving the Brings Funeral Chapel near Broadway and Kolb, heading east on Broadway then turning north on Harrison, then turning west on Speedway, and entering Calvary Chapel at one of the eastern entrances, and then pulling in between these lines of honor guard that we are seeing here now. It's possible while we're watching we may see them practice their drill and their outdoor honors first, but it may well be that the motorcade is too close and they're simply just going to hold their positions and wait for that moment that they have drilled for. Yesterday, when we took a quick look at the chapel just to scout out the locations and make sure that we could be in a good position for our live shots, we saw that they were here drilling and making sure that their performance was perfect back then. So again, this is an important gesture of respect. The honor guards that you see here to perform the honors correctly are very careful about being sure that they are well drilled, well turned out, and their uniforms are just perfect. So for now, we're awaiting the motorcade. Reporting live at Calvary Chapel, Craig Smith, KGUN 9, on your side.
All right, thank you, Craig. Let's head over to Sierra Encinas, who was at the scene of that Amtrak shooting from earlier this week. She's been covering the story from the very start. Sierra, what are you seeing right now?
Well, what you can see on your screen right now, Chandrea, is that motorcade just crossed over here on Speedway and Harrison, and you can see this procession making its way down to Calvary Chapel, less than a mile away from here. This is that procession here. You can see people along Speedway paying their respects to fallen DEA agent Michael Garbo. And we're going to give you guys just a moment to take all of this in, and then I'll go over that timeline of events.
All right, we're going to go ahead and head back out to Craig Smith, who's at Calvary Chapel, where that procession is set to end. Craig.
All right, we're awaiting the procession. From our location, it's hard for us to tell exactly how close it is, but it does seem like it's pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way, and you can get a better idea of the preparations, the honor guards that are waiting for that procession as it arrives. We expect to see the hearse basically go right between and park between those two lines of uniformed law enforcement. And there's multi-agencies. We just saw them come to attention, which may indicate that the motorcade is close, but it looks like they're just practicing some of their drill of the honors they're going to exercise when the motorcade actually arrives and the hearse actually arrives. But the agencies we see there are really representative of almost everybody who operates there. All right, now we are seeing the motorcade come up. We're just seeing the first lights of the escorting motorcycles come in between the about to head towards the honor guard. I'm just going to go ahead and just be silent here and just let you see and hear what we see. All right, now the motorcycle escort has separated, and as we saw the motorcycle escort move by, you could see the multi-agency aspect of this. I'm looking at motorcycles from Tucson Police, Mesa Police, Chandler, DPS, Pima County. Now, they're rendering honors as the hearse arrives. We're going to be quiet, and hopefully you can hear at least a bit of that.
open mic.
Now you can see that the honor guards have broken formation and are moving inside the chapel. The casket, we couldn't have a terribly clear view. It looks like the casket is in based on the behavior of the honor guards. Now, something you probably were able to hear even at this distance was the sound of bagpipes. Bagpipes have become a traditional part of observances for first responders, police, and firefighters. And, you know, I've never actually heard a specific explanation of why that is, but I think it may be that through the years, bagpipes have become associated with sort of a warrior ethic of folks who are the tradition of fighting men and women who fight to defend something, fight for what they believe. And I'm just theorizing here that could quite easily be why bagpipes are so very much a part of tradition at ceremonies like this. Whenever you see a solemn gathering of law enforcement or firefighters. So now we've got about an hour before the service begins. The last seating is going to be at 10 minutes to 10. The last seating is going to be at 10 minutes to 10 for a service that begins at 10. We expect the service to last roughly 90 minutes. At least 8 speakers are expected to speak, including the overall administrator of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Tucson Police Chief Christopher Magnus, a number of other dignitaries. And we do expect this chapel to fill up. Its ordinary seating capacity is about 2,400. We actually expect standing room only by the time it is totally filled and they decide that that's it, no further entry. And that audience we expect to be law enforcement and families from not just our immediate area, but from all over Arizona, all over the United States, perhaps internationally as well, as a gesture of respect when the law enforcement community comes together to honor one of their brother officers killed in the line of duty. That is what we have come to expect from these ceremonies. And again, there have been 6 instances of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty in our immediate area in the last 18 years. So we have seen these ceremonies before, and regrettably, it's fair to assume we will see them again. But that is the scene here at Calvary Chapel now. Honor guards from multiple agencies receiving the hearse with the casket of Agent Michael Garbo as it is moved into Calvary Chapel for ceremonies that again are set to begin at 10 o'clock. Reporting live at Calvary Chapel, Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
All right, thank you, Craig, and thank you to Sierra and Tina. We will continue to follow this all day, so stay with us online, on air, and on social media. Thank you for joining us.